The sun goes down, but the truth stays bright. We're building up the nation on a Thursday night. From the shores to the stage, yeah, we're keeping it real. Sehon Marshall's got the vibe and the late night feel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Thursday night, and thank you for joining us on Up Late with Sehon Marshall covering the issues, the development, and the heartbeat of the nation. Now, here's your host, Sehon Marshall.
Welcome. Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are, to this a new edition of Update with Sehon Marshall. I am your host, Sehon Marshall, and I would like to thank you so much for joining tonight's program. Now, you noticed that we had a whole brand new introduction. Yes, I want to thank my good buddy Gary Truths Young, from Truths Nice, for doing that introduction for me. Uh, Gary just got the inspiration. He stayed at home and it came to him and he just did that. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I thank Gary Truths Young for doing that fantastic introduction for me. The video itself, the video part, I did that. I did that and so on. But the voicing was done from Gary, and I really appreciate what Gary did for us. Gary is an original member of the family, just so you know. He was there from the very beginning when Uplate started at the Russell Cinema, and he has always had a passion in his heart for Uplate. So, Truths, big up. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you've done. So, all those of you who've joined tonight, thank you so much for being a part of the program. Thank you so much for joining the program. As always, I love to have you guys with me. Uh, Soldier, all right, there you go. Baba. Big up, man. Good, thank you very much. Orman as well. Good night to you. When you come on, just say where you are coming from, and I would do my best to give you a shout out. I'll do my absolute best to give you a shout out. All right, Ev, good night from the UK. Those of you who know what you're supposed to be doing with your uh, WhatsApp and so forth, please do it for me. You do share. I believe tonight my director didn't indicate whether or not we are on both Facebook and on YouTube tonight. Are we? Yes, we are. So we are on both Facebook and on YouTube tonight. I did that last week, and I'm doing it again this week. So please, if you're on Facebook, share it on your page so that others can be a part of this fantastic program that you love to watch so much. Now, last week, I believe one of my good friends reached out to me and told me that she wanted a mug. I let her know that the mugs are available anytime you're ready. They are still available for sale, so you can reach out to me and you can get your brand new Upplate mug. I also promised that coming would be present please and class dismissed t-shirts. People have been meeting me in Kingston and telling me I want a t-shirt. I want a t-shirt. One individual say I want two. That's how I love it. Right? They come in just now. But in the meantime, remember, you could always jump on the upplate with your mug. Make sure that you get your mug. All right? Good. I think somebody was trying to call a while ago on the update WhatsApp. I don't know why you would want to do that, right? But it's there, and you are able. It's on the screen from time to time, so you are able to send your WhatsApp message. I'm not taking WhatsApp calls just yet, but you can send your WhatsApp messages, and we would be able to facilitate you. All right. Let me thank you so much again for your support. Those of you who've been supporting the programs, all of them on all the platforms, thank you so much. Keep supporting, keep sharing, keep liking. Those who have been sending contributions, thank you so much. I appreciate it. The small ones, the medium sized ones, the larger ones, absolutely appreciate them all. They help the program stay on here. They help me to defer some of the specific expenses that are associated with Uplift with Sehon Marshall. So, hey, thank you so much. Keep liking, keep sharing. The growth is still there. Slow down a bit, but still growing steadily. So I appreciate that. Facebook, YouTube, all of them, all the platforms are growing. I said I'd love to be able to be at 2,000 for Carnival. I'm on track for that. Let's see how that would go. All right. Now tonight, I want to focus on something that I did a little bit on the Present Please program, and it is don't mash up your family for me. Don't mash up your family for me. I want to focus on that tonight. I want to focus on that tonight, and I want to establish and point out the hypocrisy of the New Democratic Party. And I know many are looking for wins. You see, that is the problem that I'm having now. They are looking for wins, WINS, because their campaign slogan said, "Together we win." But the reality for most Vincentians is that since the elections of 2025, November 27th, there have not been many wins. There have been partial achievements. I admit and I agree, and I will give them that. But there have not been many wins because the truth is they've not delivered on what they promised. And so I can't give you a win if you're not delivering on your promises. So that's the first thing I have an issue with when it comes to the New Democratic Party. First thing, no wins. But they promised you that you would win. All right, I see some people just double checking. I see some people messaging about Facebook and YouTube and so on. So I think no, people are good. All right, people are good. So YouTube is good. Where do we? I see yes, good. And the Facebook. Let me just double check on the Facebook to make sure that the Facebook is good as well. It's Uplift with Sehon Marshall. Is the Facebook is Uplift with Sehon Marshall. Don't mash up the family, and yes, that's going quite well as well. All right, fantastic. All right. So there have not been many wins. As a matter of fact, there's been a great deal of disappointment among NDP supporters. They are cussing, they are going after people, their spirits are hurting because their government is not delivering on its promises. And instead of accepting that, they are lashing out at people. And that's where we are now. So they're looking for wins. Anytime, if the prime minister of this country goes on television and smiles, he gets applauded for it because it's the best smile a prime minister ever smiled. That's where things are in St. Vincent right now. He goes and says, when these guys come and say they did this and they did that, don't bother with them. What they did was easy. Well, it couldn't be that easy if now that you are here, give the chance to do it, you can't match up. It can't be that easy. It clearly was not that easy because you can't do it. So they're looking for wins. Looking for wins. And anything they could hold on to as a win, they hold on to it. Now, during the week, he went to the Prime Minister. By the way, you notice how all of them rushing to go to 705 every day? Well, that's it. 705 is NBC Radio. One on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. They're not running. What did Leacock say? Facebook ain't running his ministry, social media. But clearly, they're all running to the media because apparently they're managing government from radio station. You think old talk, a country that was managed by a party with a vision for the last 25 years, and you saw where the party took the country, where the government took the party, action. You think old talk and nice smile will bamboozle the majority of intentions? Listen, you might fool some people all your clock, but eventually they go see right through you. And that's the problem that the NDP is having right now. People are seeing right to them. So we're looking for wins. Everything they're trying to make a win. And they're struggling. Because the reality is there are very little wins. So don't mash up a family for me, was the comment made by Dr. Friday. And it was interesting that the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines felt the need to come to people, to come to our citizens and tell you, don't mash up your family for him and his party. In 24 plus years, almost 25 years of the Ralph Gonsalves-led Labour Party, I never heard the Prime Minister having to appeal to Vincentians not to mash up your family because people knew, people understood that families have different persuasions and that even outside of politics, families remain. I wasn't politically conscious for all of James Mitchell's period in government, the NDP. But I would say from about 89, 90, I started to become aware of the politics. And I can't remember James Mitchell having to come and tell Vincentians, don't mash up your family for he. And it is strange that some individuals, well, maybe strange is not the right word. Maybe strange is not the right word. It's probably noticeable that individuals are actually willing to mash up their family for politics. You know, I have a lot of examples of situations where churches mash up over politics. I remember hearing that at the time when Ruth Woods ran out in North Windward because Ruth Woods was an Adventist or is an Adventist. And so the Sandy Bay Adventist Church was apparently split. I remember something similar happened when Brother Straker, another Adventist, ran for Labour. Layu again, apparently church got fractured. And, Minnie Adventist from Kittle's Adventist Church. Well, I honestly can't say what I heard from the church, except that most individuals believe that the members of the Adventist Church who love Minnie and respected Minnie as a church leader didn't think she was fit to lead them in the constituency. But that's another story. So I have heard that churches would get fractured if a member decides to run for politics. And I just gave some examples. But the issue of family is not one that I was familiar with, where families doesn't mash up. Like I tell you, said sometime last week or week before, I don't know. My buddy, Joby, everybody know Joby from North Leeward, Chateau. And Joby supports the NDP. He's my brother. He would come to me with his band all his yellow bands on his hand. We go hug up. As a matter of fact, I even have close friends, brothers even, as I call them, who support the New Democratic Party, and it has never gotten between us. There are the immature individuals who believe that politics must divide you. And I realized that I had to remove myself from the company of some people because they were okay using my name for clickbait. They would go on social media and call up my name and call up my name. As a matter of fact, even today, today I was going through Facebook, an article that's on Facebook, and I saw some comments on it. And my good friend Tammy Kirby, Tammy, good night. Tammy wrote under the article. It's well penned. It's well penned. Something on the Tammy, and I say something because it's a fake profile. It's really not nothing. It's a non-entity really. On the Tammy goes, that's AI. He's not that smart. And somebody I know who I mean just stand up and talk and think and so on. I was called Bush the father, Bush the whatever. Goes and then come and call me notish. That's my friend. No, tell me no. I supposed to meet he in tongue afterwards and he hailed me like nothing happened when I'm a friend. Seriously. That's where we are, you know. We could disagree without being disagreeable, but apparently that's not the NDP style of things. As long as they disagree with you, they attack you. They attack you personally. So a fake profile that probably uses AI to generate a comment says I'm not smart. It's a good thing I have the confidence of a lion. And what people, by now, you're the NDP. You've been coming after me for the last so much years. Years. From the time I became a public figure. And he never told me. I had an allegation in the US, one that I denied. Every chance I get, y'all tweet at me. And I keep rising. And I remember seeing a little video that talks about an eagle and that the only bird that would attack an eagle is a crow. And they would jump on the eagle's back. And you know what the eagle does? The eagle just keeps rising, keeps soaring. And it soars and soars and picks altitude and picks altitude until it gets to a place where the crow can't stay on the back because it can't dwell in that level, in that altitude. So it falls off. See, people like myself and Audrey Gittins, Dr. Gonzalez, Sabuto, Brewster, and so on, Luther, and many others. I'm just calling some names randomly, of course. Nadia Slater, and so on. We are eagles, you know. There are individuals that can only operate in the gutter. In the gutter. And all we gotta do is just keep rising. Just keep seeking altitude, claiming altitude. And they can't survive in the altitude. So eventually they go drop off. I'm not easily distracted. I remember Dr. Gonzalez used to quote the famous story in the Old Testament. Can't remember who it was. If it's Marshall watching, she could tell me. Jill could tell me too. He was building the wall. It's Nehemiah. He's building the wall. And the director said, he's building the wall. And they were distracting him. See, I'm doing a great work. I ain't coming down. Listen, they're trying to knock me off a present, please, and a plate. And they can't knock me off because I have a responsible work to do for the people of this country. A voice for those who can't talk. As I walk through Kingston daily, I hear it all the time. Present, please. I meet people saying, you don't know me, but I don't miss. I posted this morning that, because of my schedule now, it's difficult to turn out the videos on time. Because I've only missed a few, not many. Since I started on the 20 something of January, I've probably missed maybe four. And it's because I leave in the morning, I head to Kingstown. A lot of the times I'm at the courthouse, I'm in the court, I'm working on documented, doing drafting, whatever. And so when I get home in the evening, I'm tired. So I was making the point that, look, sorry for the inconsistency. And people message me, they responded, they say, no, stop. It's okay. A lady say, well, I think school been suspended, but it's on break. I said, no, I said, we could do evening classes, don't worry. Because present please a custom come midday. I tried, but it might have come a little later. Because I know the work I'm doing, I know the importance of the work I'm doing to raise the issues in a responsible way so that people could understand what the issues are. And they don't like that. And they attack that. But I keep focused. So they're attacking people. And it's obvious that that type of attitude would permeate the very heart of our society, the family. Because people are bitter. People are angry. People are bitter and they're angry. No. Let's talk family. And let's talk about the track record of family. In the newspaper a few years ago, there was an article of an incident between Daniel Cummins and his nephew. I think the teacher guy is a Denny. I think full clip. I can't remember his correct name. Full clip is his name because he sing. And the allegations were that Full Clip was living in a house for an uncle of his, which was apparently, I'm not sure if it was a great uncle of his, and so it's Daniel Cummins' uncle or what have you. But apparently Daniel Cummins was the person or felt that he had custody or beneficial, some type of beneficial ownership or something of the property. And he wanted the young man out. Those are the allegations. That's it flesh and blood, eh? That's it flesh and blood. He's a nephew. And the allegations based on the article in the newspaper is that Daniel Cummins basically bulldozed the house with his nephew inside it. Now, I ain't saying that because of politics, but I'm saying, who treats family like that? Who treats family like that? I mean, I know when it comes to property and land, people are really, as we don't say, dead left. I don't know the circumstances of the property, whether it was dead left or what have you. I don't know if Daniel had beneficial ownership of the property. I don't know if he was the actual owner of the property. I don't know. I can't remember the story right now. But what I do know is that his own flesh and blood inhabited the property. And whatever the situation was happening with the property, it ended up with the property being bulldozed with the young man staying inside it. Who does that? That's family. We're talking about the bonds of family. But clearly he had no problems doing that. No problems. Good night, Jill. Claudette and Anika, Trevor, Sylvia, all of the others, good night. Hendrik was correcting me too. Hendrik say, all right, Mr. Speaker, Nehemiah. So I wander too far. The New Democratic Party is a divisive party. It always has been, And so far, it continues to be. I can't speak in absolute. I can't say it always will because I don't know. I can't talk to the future, but I can speak about what it is now. It always has been from what I've known, and it continues to be to this day. A divisive party, a party that thrives on division. It thrives on division. That is the primary way that they were able to keep their base, by demonizing the other side, so it became us and them. And for some reason, you might think that this would stay outside of the bounds of family. It'll just be random people not talking to each other. And it might even be friends cutting off each other because of politics. But why do you think it would stay there? What makes you think that the attitude of division and divisiveness because of politics would not encroach and permeate the family in the same way it did the workplace, in the same way it did the communities, in the same way it did the churches? If that's what you preach, that's what you will get. And there will be no boundaries, because the same individual who is content with not speaking to his neighbor, who is content with not speaking to his sister or brother in the Lord because of politics when election time come, is the same person who would cut off the family because of politics. So imagine if there is that inclination in the first place to begin with, what do you suspect would happen when it is encouraged by the party you support? What do you think will happen? And so, yes. And you've heard me talk about examples about these all the time. The examples of Ken E.G. Lynch threatening Ken Boy to kill him in the face if he pass. Rootwood saying, proclaiming, we wanted together now, let them stay NDP, we go stay ULP. Or let them say ULP, sorry, we go stay NDP. With Bowen Williams saying, pass and say, christen the picnic first. And so when we get into government, we have to make sure NDP people get work before any Labour Party person get work. I know sometimes people just forget these things, But the NDP has thrived on the doctrine of us versus them. Us in the NDP versus them, everybody else. And somehow, right thinking people would assume that that attitude would touch every facet of society except the family. But how? How? And we have people in the NDP who are willing to destroy their family members. So I was looking for the clips earlier today and I just couldn't find them. Augustine sent me the thing by email and I just couldn't find it. But Arnhem Eustace, the leader of the opposition, was in studio with St. Clair Leacock, the vice president. So Arnhem is the president of the party. Sinclair is the vice president, still is the vice president. So Arnhem was the president, Sinclair, the vice president. At the time, he was the president. He's in studio and nice read. I believe, from what I hear in the clip, I believe Honest to Cook was the host of the program at the time. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, Honest to, please forgive me. But I did pick up a voice that sounded like yours. Now, for those of you who just joined in, y'all missed the bad brand new intro. Don't worry, at some point in time I go break. I take a 40-second break so that the director could play it. So I'll get bad. I'm going to see it. Director said, "No, Parliament, no, we can't see them. Quite bad, it's bad. You can't keep on late." So you had the responsible leaders of the NDP, the opposition leader at the time and president of the NDP, Arnim Eustace, and a vice president of the party, and I believe member for Central Kingston at the time. And the member for Central Kingston, his vindictiveness, his vindictiveness, the man who's Minister of National Security, Police Commissioner, and the Police Service Commission all at once. He was there and he was encouraging a caller. They were engaging a caller, and caller's only frustrated. Tell the caller, listen, you can encourage people overseas to send money for the NDP and encourage them to tell their friends to send money for the NDP and so forth. The caller says, Major, guy with a major attitude and a major ego. That's the only thing major about you, really. The ego. Says, I told my mother, he said, I send my mother money every month. And I have a family to take care, but I send money to take care of my mother in the earnings. She's a strong ULP supporter. But I tell she, if she vote Labour, she ain't get nothing from me. She not serious, she love my mother plenty. But if she votes the Labour Party, she's getting nothing from me. Nothing. Leacock and Cummins sat in studio, and all they could say to the caller was, I see. I see, I hear you. I hear you. Not a single person rebuked him. No one said, that's your mother. I might have said something like, boss, that's your mother. I mean, it's disappointing that you wouldn't see your way. And she can't understand the seriousness of the vote. But that's your mother. Not Sinclair Leacock or Arnim Eustace. Arnim saying, I hear you, I see. They were not willing to rebuke that man and tell the man, your car make your mother suffer because of politics. It wasn't in their DNA. They didn't have the moral, the decency to say, no, boss, I can't accept that. No. Go back with that. Your mother? Nah. None of them had the decency to rebuke that man. That is what the NDP is. You see, if they could, through coercion, and in this case, it's a man making him suffer to the point where she has to say, oh God, I go vote NDP. Send back the money, give me something buy little sardine and little thing to live. Somebody said, but that was Arnim Eustace. That was Arnim Eustace. We have a new leader now. We have, no, never mind. Arnim Eustace was supposed to be Mr. Clean. That was how Mr. Clean, the clean man, the man of integrity, the man who they taunted as being such an upright man, didn't have the decency to say, nah, I can't encourage that. Your mother? Nah, man. Nah. So you say, well, but see, that's Arnim. We have a new leader now, and the Honorable Gordon Friday is a man of integrity, and he's cleaning up the mess and so forth, and he's a different man. Yeah. Jeff is right. Send it to the NDP. Those are the sentiments. to the NDP. So yes, somebody says, "Yeah, no man, that was on him. That ain't Friday. Friday's a different kind of man. He's his own man. This is his party. He's a man of integrity. So you can't pigeonhole Dr. Friday in the same way you're pigeonholing on him." I said, okay, let's talk Friday. At a town hall meeting recently in New York, Nigel Stevenson was engaging individuals in the diaspora at the town hall meeting. I am 95% sure, and Jeff will correct me, I am 95% sure that Godwin Friday was there as leader of the opposition. When Nigel got up and decided to speak passionately to the attendees, he told them about, explained to them the value and the power of the diaspora. And he used figures. He used figures. The GDP as an example of the power of the diaspora based on their contribution to St. Vincent and the Grenadines through their families. And you hear that all the time, Oh, we're keeping up St. Vincent, you're keeping up your family. You ain't sending money to the treasury, you're sending money to your families. You're sending money to your families. So Nigel was explaining to them, listen, you guys are real power. You contribute significantly to the gross domestic product of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. No, I don't think that is GDP. I think that's supposed to be the GNP. I know economists, but I believe they would form part of the gross national product, not the domestic product. But I am not 100% sure, but I believe so. I did economics in Form 5, and I did some political economy. So I'm about 65-70% sure that if you're looking at the contributions of Vincentians overseas, that wouldn't be the GDP, that'd be the GNP. But anyway, I ain't getting bogged down into, because I ain't that smart. I'm not that smart. Yeah, Tommy? So he said, you have the power. And I know you want change. I hear the passion. He says, and just like if you have a disobedient child, that's how Nigel Stevenson was referred to big people in this country, disobedient children, because they wouldn't vote for NDP. He said, if you have a disobedient child, you can't give the child everything they want and they're disobedient. He says, as much as it may be difficult, and I know people who, he said it, no, he admitted it, no. He said, I know people who are suffering. I know people at home are suffering. But if you want them to do a certain thing and they wouldn't do it, you have to practice, his exact words, some tough love. And withdraw, pull back, stop sending them money, stop supporting them. There's a family here. So, under Annie Eustace, with Leacock as vice president, people were being encouraged to cut off the mother, the elderly mother, the families, because they want them elderly families, the mother and so on, to vote NDP. The family voting Labour. Under Annie Eustace, cutting them off. If you vote for Labour, you won't get, if you vote the ULP, you won't get a cent from me, said the man in front of Annie Eustace. And in the presence of Godwin Friday, nature says, I know your family home suffering. That's what you say now, because Labour in power, some people suffer. I know them suffering. But if they can't do what you want them to do, to effect the change, to vote for NDP, and change from Labour to NDP, if they wouldn't do it, practice some tough love and cut them off, pull back, withdraw, do not send them any money. In other words, it is okay, it is desirable for you to let your family suffer even more than he says they're suffering. That is Nature MP for South Leeward. One of the vice presidents, mind you, of the NDP. There are two vice presidents, Nature and Leacock. Two vice presidents. And one vice president was there with Arnim saying, cut off your mother. He didn't say it. So do not go away with thinking that, or that I'm not saying that he said it. The man called, the man said that that's what he's going to do. No rebuke. Nothing. I see. I hear you. To me, that's an approval. That's a tacit approval. That's an approval. No. If I have children, which will come to me, that they're going down the road by them boys, they are going down the road. All right, I hear you. I see. And he walk out the house and go down the road. I can't tell you afterwards that I told you not to go or I objected. Fair? It, to me, to anybody, would be an approval, not an outright approval, but what you call a tacit approval. Oh, it's okay. I see. All right. No objection. No, rather, no objection. No objection. So if I don't object openly, if I don't object specifically, then it could be understood that I'm okay with it. And Sinclair Leacock and Arnim Eustace sat there and seemed quite okay with a man saying he going to cut off his mother, yell at his mother because she going to vote Labour. You come forward, and the other vice president, Nature Stevenson, is there with the now president, Godwin Friday, and he's telling people in the diaspora, in a town hall meeting, I know your people home suffering, I know your family home suffering because, of course, they had the narrative that Vincentius was suffering under Labour. Vincentius was suffering under Labour. Labour wicked, Labour this, Labour that. Vincentius suffering. Excuse me. And so he said, I know they're suffering. But if you can't get them to do what you want them to do, which is to vote the NDP so we can have the change that we want, then you're going to have to practice some tough love. You have to withdraw. You have to pull back. You have to stop sending them money. Old people just say, no better beef, no better barrel. I don't know what I mean. I don't know what I mean, but I hear it used plenty times with my mother and other people from Chateau. When they're talking about two people, it's like 6 or 1/2 dozen the other. Or let's say, no better beef, no better barrel. I hope I get the quotation right. Hendrik, I get it right? Between Arnim Eustace and Godwin Friday. And I could imagine, viewers, I could imagine, President, please, Jacqueline. You frightened me the boy when I see Jacqueline. I'm frightened because I was ready to take a ton, but it's a sensible Jacqueline. It's Bascom. Right. Yes. So I have no doubt that people, family members, were pressured by their relatives overseas, threatened by their relatives overseas. There are probably relatives right now whose parents, I know people who were threatened to get thrown out if they didn't vote for NDP. People went through the data. I have no doubt that there are people right now in this country who lost their relationship at home with their parents and so forth because of the last election. I have no doubt. And I am willing to bet that the majority, if not all of those instances, are supporters of the NDP threatening their loved ones about voting Labour. No doubt. The majority, if not all, are new Democratic Party supporters who are willing to mash up the family, to cast their loved ones aside, to cause their loved ones to suffer because of politics. So now, you come in to play some thing with a little hypocritical self. Don't mash up your family for me, boss. You don't cause no families to mash up. So trying to come and pull that back now, it ain't working. People saying right to you. There are supporters of the New Democratic Party who are rejoicing because their family members who supported Labour lost their jobs. I know that. I know that. There are supporters of the New Democratic Party today who are rejoicing because their family member who supported Labour lost their job. Don't mash up your family for me. I am willing to say without fear or contradiction, fear of contradiction, that among other things, the fracturing of relationships during the elections of 2025 is a reason, and a significant one, why the NDP won. But you win. But miss me with the nonsense about don't mash up your family for me. Because families are fractured currently. Families have been torn apart and are trying to pick up the pieces going forward. You want to take away one family piece of land that they got under Labour to give another family member who voted NDP, and you think that is going to hold the family together? A family member got a piece of land as part of the excellent land reform program that the ULP did, giving land to the landless at marked down prices. And another family member who think that they should have gotten for whatever reason, supported the NDP, and all you could do now is threaten one to take the land from him to give the other one. And you think that's going to hold families together? You think that that is what is needed to hold families together? So it's one of those situations where, how they put it, the arseness is now trying to play the firefighter. The man who light the matches pour the kerosene on the bed mattress, throw the matches on the wet bed mattress with the kerosene, and watch the house start to blaze. Now turns around where the neighbors with bucket at your water on the burning house. Oh, Friday. You will not be allowed to play the helpful neighbor because we know you started the house of fire. We know that. And so apart from your biggest apologists and those clinging on to you for whatever they want, nobody applauding you for that. Nobody's applauding you for that, except those. Um, oh my God, you make water come to me eye. What should I make water come to your eye is when nature was in New York telling people don't send money to their family if they vote Labour. That should make water come to your eye. But instead, all your hypocrites, all your bad-minded people, clap him. Clap him. Oh, your voice is very powerful. Ming does do the voice thing, but I can't do the voice thing. And Friday sat there. And him, just like Annie Eustace, did not have the decency to say, nah, I can't promote that. I can't support that. Don't mash up your family for me. There in New York, at that town hall meeting, he had a perfect opportunity to tell the individuals there, don't mash up your family for me. Instead, when he heard nature, he sat there. He probably, I guess, I wasn't paying much attention to them then. Chances are he probably was laid back with the eye closed like how it a drop sleep. I don't know. Because nature's kind of hard to listen to anyway. Actually, I'm not sure which of them is soft on the ears. It's difficult to actually sit down and listen to a full address from them, honestly. But anyway. Just like Annie Eustace, Friday did not possess the decency to rise up, take the mic from nature and say, no, nature, we can't encourage them to mash up their family for we and for politics. No, MP Stevenson, we cannot encourage them to bring further, and I'm using the word further because that was their message, further sufferation on their family members in St. Vincent and Grenadines just because of politics. No, everybody, Mr. Vice President, we cannot allow them and encourage them to fracture because in this case, you see, here's why Godwin Friday is worse than Annie Eustace. Here's why Godwin Friday is actually worse in the circumstances than Annie Eustace was. Because at least it was someone who was calling when Arnhem and Sinclair were there and said what he told his mother and what he would do. And one would expect responsible leaders like Godwin, like Arnhem Eustace and Sinclair Leacock, if they are responsible, to rebuke the individual and say, no, I can't let you do that. I can't encourage you to do that. I can't sit here and not say nothing. Not say anything. You know, something like that. Caller, I hear you, and it's unpassionate, and as unfortunate as it is that your mother, your elderly mother, can't see the point and can't see the wisdom in voting NDP. I really can't encourage you to do that. It's your mother. You have to take care of your mother. Because she took care of you. For the 9 months I carried you, growing inside me. No charge, and all they're going to do is cut me up because I ain't vote a party. And Arnhem used to say, Sinclair Liquor can't tell you no boy, don't do that. But here's why Godwin, the Canadian, is worst. Because in the case of him and Vice President Nature was actually telling them Don't send the money for your children. Don't send the money for your parents. Don't send the money for your siblings. If they vote in Labour. So that was where the responsibility, in my view, came. Because he should have said, get up. I'm listening to the Vice President and MP, Nigel Simpson, and I love him, and I know the party wants to win. And I know we want to see the change. But if seeing the change means destroying your families, starving your families, bringing greater suffering on your families, I can't encourage that. And so I'm going to ask the Honorable MP to take that back. Because he was there. But he didn't know such thing. Why? Because the NDP has shown time and again, they don't care who they trample, they don't care who gets damaged, they don't care what they mash up as long as they win. They will mash up tongue in a protest. The rioted mob. They will bad name St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their deliberations and their discussions. And they will mash up a family. Something I go talk about more is when I hear the party that put up signboards advertising the crime situation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the party that blocked the construction of the AI at every turn, the party that led protests at the cruise ship port when a tourist ship came in. I just forget thing, Now that party is claiming growth in the tourism sector. Patting itself on the back. But we'll talk about that another time. They don't care what they mash up. They, as the saying goes, have no problem burning down the empire just to rule over the ashes. The same people who do not care if St. Vincent and the Grenadines loses just so they could win are the same people who would encourage you to destroy your bonds of family, to destroy your bonds of friendship, to destroy your bonds of community, just so they can win. And then, when it's all said and done, they come back and they say, oh, don't mash up your family for me. Don't mash up your family for me. My director is giving me a cue day. Tell me to take a quick break. Play the intro for those of you who miss it. And when we come back, more Uplift with Sehon Marshall.
The sun goes down, but the truth stays bright. We're building up the nation on a Thursday night. From the shores to the stage, yeah, we're keeping it real. Sehon Marshall's got the vibe and the late night feel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Thursday night, and thank you for joining us on Up Late with Sehon Marshall covering the issues, the development, and the heartbeat of the nation. Now, here's your host, Sehon Marshall.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know you love it too. It launched tonight for the first time. The vocals, the voice, my boy Gary Truths Young. Thank you very much. The video editing and so forth. That was all me. I got some skills. I learned when I was press secretary, thanks to Nadia, who showed me quite a bit, and also Zoro down at VC3. So I was able to go and do my thing, and so yeah, that nice clip the way see there, that's me. I hope you like it. I hope that is a new intro for the show that was launched tonight. All right. So, look, the positive outpouring that came, that followed the nonsense statement, don't mash up your family for me, just showed how anxious they are to try and call everything a win. Everything. Because there's really nothing of substance for them to hold on to. What have they done? What have they done? A bunch of things are being rolled out. Someone, a good friend of mine, sent me something today. Let me where we go? I got something today. Things like Berry, UBEC, and so forth. Those were all things done under ULP. Listen, the same loans that they criticize, the same debt that they talk about, the Berry Business Support Program, that was one of the loans that Labour took. The NDP is continuing to roll it out. That's not a win for the NDP. That's one of the loans that Ralph took that y'all complain about and say, oh, the country's in so much debt. That the money that they continue to spend. The hospital that don't visit how much time. That's part of the debt as well that they're complaining about. When they're rolling things out, things continue to roll out. And let's see there. I see on the modern port. Yes, exactly. The modern port. Thank you very much. These are all things that the money, you create such an impression and made all the talk about how Labour ran up debt and 3 billion, but you're still spending the money, and you're spending the money and taking the credit as if it's yours. You're not honest enough to say, well, hey, the 3 billion that we're talking about that we're in debt, there's $6 million there. This thing for the desalination plant in Myro, that's part of the debt. The UBEC is part of the debt. The business support on the Berry, that's part of the debt. But they wouldn't tell you that. They wouldn't tell you. They've been lying to you. And they continue to lie to you. But you don't mind. Because as Berry's a man say, you fell for one of the sweet lies. In the case of the NDP, you fell for plenty sweet lies. And so now, all they have to claim and to talk about is a great smile. But I need to get that young lady from Lee, you know, what's her name again, boy? Bakisha. John. Miss John. I have to get her on my program. Because she's been warning about it. She say it takes more than a great smile, a nice smile. I don't know if she used the word great. It takes more than a nice smile. Yes, the Library Stadium, absolutely. The advertising, CPL August coming here, the first weekend in August. Why is CPL able to come here for the first weekend in August? Because the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines invested $50 million. And you know something? They said the dance can't pay for the light. They didn't agree with it. It was done. Now they could boast about it. They criticized the stadium at Annisville. It did it. What are they going to do? Continue to build on it. Did they? It's the vision. So they have no problem. They never have. They never will have a problem but talking St. Vincent and the Grenadines, destroying St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the same way, they have no problems but talking and destroying your families. None. So I never took that seriously. I never paid any real serious mind to that comment because I know that was just for exactly what it got. Clicks, likes, and shares. There's nothing genuine about it. The man whose party encouraged people to suffer their families, to put pressure on their families, to withdraw support from their families, because their families would not be willing to vote for the NDP, his party, cannot now come back and tell me about the bonds of family and how important the bonds of family are. No way, no way, no day. Fool somebody else. Fool somebody else. We understand this thing. When Labour says Labour love, we mean that. I heard this many times, I heard this many times that many supporters of the NDP utilized their relationships, their friendships, and so forth with supporters of the ULP, with officials within the government to get ahead. But they never voted the ULP. And we know that. But they've been sanctions. You could apply on your own and see how it happens. You want a student loan, you want whatever, apply. You send an application to the police force, apply. But you know me, or I know somebody else, and they go, see, and apply for the police force. Well, okay, I know the commissioner, the previous commissioner, and the current commissioner, and the previous one. So I'm able to call and say, listen, there's a someone I could vouch for. The person get to the police force, they continue vote the party, NDP. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad I could help. But somebody who's you might be upset and say, well, boss, but them not vote for we, them not vote for we, the so and so and so, help a lay up. All of we have intentions, all of we got we gotta eat, we gotta live. And I'm glad I could help. This NDP party here, this NDP party here is come to the front, is bullying, is all sorts of threats. Because they wire out. You need to fire all the Labour people and put in the NDP people. But the Labour families, the Labour support, and I'm quoting them, I'm quoting them. The Labour supporters are families too. And they have families who are NDP supporters too. But ultimately, we are all been sanctions. You can't fire them all. Can't what? I'm going to say, watch me. Watch me fire them. And they fire left and right and center. Left and right and center. Of course, the ministers and the senators and so forth, they're taking care of their families. Because their families, their smally, their baby mother, their body, their CC, their whatever, on board, get appointments and so on. So their families are fine. They just don't care about your family. And we warned you that that party is about their elitist friends and their close friends and their family. They're not about you and your family. Your family could suffer. Your family could starve. They will kick the food out of your mouth. They will encourage your family members to take the food out of your mouth. That's how they stop. That's what they have done. There is a record of that. I'm not talking out of the top of my head, abstract in any abstract manner. I'm telling you what they have done. I'm telling you what they have done. I'm telling you their record. They will encourage your family to box food out of your mouth. And then turn around and tell you, oh, we love family. Oh, don't match up a family for me. Oh, the bonds of family are special. Yeah. I agree. The bonds of family are special. Very special. But you should know all the time. And instead of encouraging people to destroy those bonds, instead of encouraging members of their families to destroy those bonds, you should have always been the one asking them to protect it and make sure that it is strengthened. So don't come now. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And it's no coincidence, like I said, that you have to be the one to bring that message because previously you were the one who brought the message of division. So now you're trying to repair the breach that you caused. You are now trying, as I said earlier, as the one who started the fire, to pretend to be the helpful neighbor to out it. You're hoping that somehow you can have families come back together and ignore the fact that you are the reason, your party is the reason that they were torn apart. Is that what you're hoping for? Well, the legacy is still there. And you're going to have to deal with those families that are already fractured and maybe irreparably fractured. People not talk to nobody. People gone to the grave with family members in their mind. Hmm? That son or that daughter who mourns and weeps nightly because the mother or the father died without talking to them because of politics. Are you encouraged that? Because you tell the child, you tell the son, you tell the daughter, it's okay. Cut them off, withhold, pull back, stop sending them money if they wouldn't do the right thing. And in that period where the relationship was fractured, where someone in the community had to meet, had to go to the social welfare and say, listen, there's this elderly man, there's this elderly woman in this or that community. The son or the daughter live in New York or England or Canada. Used to send money to them, but they stop and they have real bad shape. Help them out with a little public assistance. That's how they were able to survive. To the love and care of the Unity Labour Party after you and your party encourage the son or the daughter living overseas to stop sending money because that elderly parent wouldn't vote for NDP. And that is the reality. I am not giving you a pass because I know the harm that your rhetoric caused. It wasn't just rhetoric, it was practice. There are people who decided that because Labour win, I used to sponsor X or Y. I stop. What is their money? Garbage to them. They make that decision. But to encourage them as a major political party, to encourage them to stop supporting their family members because of politics was absolutely disgraceful. It showed very little decency on your part. It reinforced how divisive you are. It showed your absence of love for humanity. And most importantly, it showed that you were only interested in power. And you were willing to achieve power at all costs. That's why some of them behaving so now. That's why some of them, that's why now the major ego, even his own supporters disgusted by him. Because bro, well, there's a prime minister. You alone want all the talk. You walking around portraying yourself as this very important man, more esteemed than anybody else. You've wanted power for so long. Now you're literally drunk with power. And they don't realize that is causing you to make so many missteps that your own constituents, the people who supported you, the people who wanted you there, the people who thought that, yeah, you would make a good challenger for Ralph Gonzalez if he came asking, yo, I regret, boy, this man attitude, Monica, good night, is disgusting. It's disgraceful. Well, that's a good question, Alex, because as far as I know, it's things are supposed to advise. The Prime Minister advise, the Public Service Commission advise, and there's nothing in the Constitution for the Minister of National Security to advise. No, it was in the last administration, the Minister of National Security was also the Prime Minister. So when I can't remember how the chain go. What is the Public Service Commission advises the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister advises the Governor General or what have you. The Public Service Commission, sorry, the police, there are two. There's the Public Service and the Police Service Commission, but it's really the same chairman and it's really the same commission, but the bodies I think serve, at least there's one chairman of both bodies. Let me say that much. Whereas the entire commission is the same, I'm not sure, but I know there's one chairman for both bodies. And I can't remember how it goes, so please forgive me for that. Whether it is the Police Service Commission advising the Prime Minister, who then advises the Governor General, or what have you, but there is nothing in there for a Minister of National Security to advise anybody. And before anything happens, he attack. They used to say shoulder can't go above head. Because, and I'm using that analogy because Godwin Friday is His Majesty's first minister. He's the Prime Minister. There's a clear hierarchy, whether they like it or not. And at the top of the chain is not Sinclair Leacock. He doesn't have the responsibilities of the Prime Minister, which is enshrined in our laws and in our Constitution. But he drunk with power because he always wanted power. Power that was derived, power that came by through the fracturing of multiple relationships, multiple, what's the word I'm looking for? Multiple, the word escaped me, the boy. Institutions. The church. The family. Mash it up. Mash them up. Because we want power. And if the only how we can get power is by mashing up the meaningful institutions, and then come back afterwards and go, oh, where's the family? Oh, where's the society? Where's the community? Where's the church? We have a role to play, but don't mash it up. You don't encourage people to fracture their relationships in different ways. And so now that they have, and these relationships, these institutions are in shambles and they can't perform their functions in the society as they should be performing, you want to know what to them. You will go into a church and disturb the church at worship. You'd fracture that. And I'm sure, I am positive, I am 100% positive that members of that church voted the NDP. The same party where the chairman walked in a church and disturbed it while he was at worship. Do you understand? Do you understand? If there's one church in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where nobody should vote the New Democratic Party, is that Church of Pastor Louis. And they can't come tell me, oh, but it's forgiveness. Because I'm still holding Ralph and Labour in mind for the COVID thing. So forgiveness is supposed to be across the board, not true? You can't say you're going to forgive the NDP for the parliamentarian who match up a church, but you can't forgive the government for a COVID mandate. But I the Christian, I mean. So all know, you guys would know the conditional nature of forgiveness. Who gets it and when, and who deserves it and why. I ain't that. I out. But in closing, I'll say this. The destruction caused in our society by the divisive rhetoric and actions of the NDP may prove difficult to repair going forward. However, I believe it is my responsibility as a Vincentian, as a human being, to encourage individuals to mend differences. I agree. Do not allow partisan politics to destroy your relationships. We can disagree without being disagreeable. But I say, hey, Ngari my mother because I vote a different party than you. You can attack me simply because I have a different opinion. You know nothing about me, but you want to tell me everything simply because I critique the party you support. In the same way, you used to critique the party I support when we were in government. I have an interesting story to share, coming to the end. I met Zion in Kingstown recently. He stopped me. He said, man, it's a long time I want to meet you face to face, I want to meet you in person. Clearly, he admits he looks at different things I post, whether it's present please or update or both. He did admit that. He said, I just watch you. And he just laugh. He said, what's going on with this man? He wants to know what my end game is, what my ambitions are, what's my goal, what's my objective. He believes that Labour ain't getting back in there for now, and the party mash up and so on and so forth. I've heard those sentiments before. He didn't say anything that I hadn't heard before. He talked about the leadership of the party and what needs to be done, and of course, the fact that he supported Ralph and Labour before, and he switched to the NDP, and so we had a proper civil conversation, and we should be able to do that. We should be able to do that. I even said, I said to us, hey boy, all it be boring this year. People like you and Abidjan fan, what are we saying about? I'm not saying, because I go boring. Be interesting to see what the tent says this year, what the tent shows are like with the Calypsonian Zoo. Love to sing about Labour. But I was able to have a good civil conversation with humor and so forth with Zion as a Vincentian. He has his opinion, I have mine. He's entitled to his opinion. I am entitled to mine. And nobody call nobody dotish, nobody call nobody stupid, nobody go in nobody mother. And it can be that way. Zion said to me, he said, boss, Labour, you better form your own party. Form your own party. So I said, Zion, hold on. I said, if I form my own party, you will vote for me? He said, well, maybe not no, but you never know. I said, well, Zion, hold on. I said, Labour Party had 27,000 people who vote for them. You want me to walk away from 27,000 people? And not even you who encouraging me to walk away, going to vote for me? Without this? Eh? Labour has a base. Labour base strong. And as I said to him, and he agreed with me, we've been there before. As a matter of fact, now it's 14-1. We were at 15-0. We've been there before. And I reminded him that we were 15-0 in 89, where the NP won by about, I think it was about 4,000 votes, 27,000 something to 23,000 something in 89. And by 98, 9 years later, while the NDP won the elections, they had lost the popular vote by about 5,000 plus votes. 5,000 plus votes. And then, of course, Labour went on to win in 2001, 12-3. So we've been there before. And we go bounce back. So me worried about all of you who trumpet in 14-1. Enjoy your 14-1. But Labour will be back. And with that, I want to encourage all of you watching who are comrades. And even if you're not a comrade, there's no reason why I can't invite you to the National Council meeting of the Unity Labour Party on Tuesday 19th at the Russell Auditorium in Stony Grounds. It will be the first major event of the Labour Party since the elections of 2025. And I know many comrades are looking forward to this so they can go there and express themselves, speak in a very heartfelt, passionate way, impassioned way to their comrades, which is what we always do. There's an open mic. You'll hear addresses from party officers and so forth. But what I think is important is the community, the camaraderie, the fellowship of comrades that will take place on Tuesday next week, the 19th of May. So comrades, make sure you're organizing transportation. Link up with somebody who drives in so you could get a ride. Whatever you need to do, make sure next week, Tuesday, the 9th of May, 19th of May, you are at the Russell Auditorium to fellowship and commune with the comrades of Labour in a big way. Let us show them that we are alive, we are well, and while there is a temporary setback in the defeat of November 2025, we ain't dead. We're coming in stronger than ever, and I'm looking forward for that come next Tuesday. Comrades, this is where I call a close on tonight's program. Director, you want to give him another taste of the intro? I love the intro so much. I want to get another taste of the intro. So I get only one more taste of the new intro that was launched tonight. It's the intro. It's not added. It's the intro. So from now on, this is how this show going to start, right? But I played it already. I played it at the beginning. Many of you weren't there in the beginning because it built up afterwards. So I'm going to do the intro now again so you could hear it. And then when I come back, I bring the program to a close until Thursday. So let me get the intro one more time, Director.
The sun goes down, but the truth stays right. We're building up the nation on a Thursday night. From the shores to the stage, yeah, we're keeping it real. Sehon Marshall's got the vibe and the late night feel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Thursday night, and thank you for joining us on Up Late with Sehon Marshall covering the issues, the development, and the heartbeat of the nation. Now, here's your host, Sehon Marshall.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Again, thank you very much, Gary Truth Young, for that fantastic bit of recording, vocals and so forth. Of course, the video, I did it. And, I love it. So that's the intro from now on going forward. All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining tonight. There were those of you on Facebook and those of you on YouTube. Thank you for sticking around for the entire program until next Thursday night. By the way, Thursday's a holiday, right? But I could try my best to be on anyway. All right. Hopefully, somebody invite me somewhere and me go and me step out late and thing and me come back and me tired and me belly full and me go sleep and I'm able to do the program. You never know. Because I've been doing the programs even when it's holiday, right? But I'll give me a pass, right? If next Thursday night, ting, I'll give me a pass, right? Okay. All right. Good. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic night and God bless.